somebody who has been through all the things, been to all the doctors, been to all the experts at the end of their rope. They really want a solution that works. Those are the individuals that will pay you for your high ticket programs. And so the problem isn't that you need to know the right words to say in order to justify your high prices. The fact is, you need better prospects on the phone.
Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping entrepreneurs scale their businesses online to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker Funnel, Lindsey Anderson.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsey Anderson, and the topic of today's episode is high ticket sales, new era, new rules. You've heard me talk about this so much on the Millionaire Maker Show, and that is that the online landscape is changing. I have personally been in the online landscape for the last 20 years, and I've never seen anything like this. The fact is, experts are leaving their roles in droves. Nobody wants to be part of corporate America anymore. You have this expert, you're ready to monetize. You're ready to build a business that will take you into retirement, build a business that is not working for someone else, build a business with all of this expertise you have because you know you can go out and change lives. However, building this business really isn't as easy as you thought it was. It takes a lot more work, a lot more strategy. There's a lot more failing and a lot less winning. And you're used to being an expert. So many people struggle. And part of that is the new era that we're in. Experts are leaving in droves. AI is now on the scene. And sometimes when you're scrolling through your social media, it's hard to determine whether or not the person you're looking at is actually a person, or if it's a bot, or if it's some sort of combination of the two. And so now more than ever, high ticket sales and selling high ticket programs and services, it really becomes all about intimacy. And the more intimacy that you can create, the better off your sales process will be. And along those lines, because competition is so high, and because AI is allowing your competition to act like an expert, there are critical mistakes you are making during your high ticket sales process that you can no longer afford to make. The changing dynamics of the new economy and how it impacts high ticket sales, the fact is that we're in a new era. Nobody has seen this kind of explosion in experts, competition, and AI on the scene before, and it's hard to even keep up because things are moving so quickly. Strategies to sell your high ticket programs no longer work, and you're using outdated strategies that no longer resonate with buyers. You're missing out on so many opportunities in order to sell your services and affect lives, and you are really approaching high ticket sales with ineffective sales approaches. This is when your business looks like chaos. This is when it looks like you are constantly churning and working and trying to fill up your bank account, but nothing you do ever seems to fill it up. You are on the revenue roller coaster. And the fact is, there are lots of factors in determining you being able to scale your business. You don't just have a marketing problem. You have to really focus in and know your operations. You've got to know marketing. You've got to know sales, and you have to have a high quality product. You have to know all of these, and just focusing on one thing is not going to be the answer. However, out of everything you can pick, to really build $1 million business, the number one lever is sales. When you perfect the sales process and you really understand sales calls, and as I say, learning to love sales is the answer to all of your biggest business problems. And it's the most effective lever that you can pull in your business if you want to make more money, if you want to be more profitable, if you don't want to be spending your time spinning your wheels and working so much that you're going to hit burnout. If there is one thing that you need to perfect, it is the art of the high ticket sale. And on today's podcast, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 biggest obstacles people have right now in this new era, this new age of how to actually sell high ticket services. And we're going to talk about them all right here today on the Millionaire Maker Show with me, your host, Lindsey Anderson, 20-year veteran expert helping you sell your high ticket services on. Now, I am constantly giving live events to help you really start integrating these powerful methods today. All you need to do is head over to lindsaya.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see my next virtual event. Make sure you get registered, get signed up, and we can help you implement these powerful strategies into your business. So you will no longer be struggling, no longer wondering why this is so hard, but you can actually have the answers, take the action, and play this game of business. We'll show you the rules. It really is a game. And if you play by the rules, you too can have $1 million business, a business of your dreams. So make sure you head over to lindsaya.com and get signed up for my next live event. I'm hosting them all through the summer of 2024. Make sure to go and find out when my next virtual live event is and get signed up. For those of you who want answers now and you want recommendations now and you want to see the future now, you want to see what those roadblocks are between where you are and where you want to be in your $1 million business, full of ease, a business that works for you and not the other way around. If you're ready to take action on that, all you need to do is head over to lindsaya.com/coaching. There you can apply for a Millionaire Maker Breakthrough Strategy session with me. This is a 50-minute call, you and me. I ask you a series of questions in your business, and then I will show you the gap between where you are and where you need to be. The entire purpose of this call is to let you know exactly where the gaps are in your business, what you need to figure out before you can have that business of ease, that retirement business, that business of your dreams, the one that you wanted when you first started this, but realized it was so much harder than you thought. If you want those straight answers specific to your situation and your business, and you really just want a clear path ahead, all you need to do is apply for the Millionaire Maker Breakthrough Strategy session by heading to lindsaya.com/coaching. Fill out that application. We will reach out and get you scheduled for that very powerful call. Spaces are limited. Certainly make sure that you fill out that application if you are wanting to get that super critical time with myself, with an expert in the online business building industry. So let's talk about today's topic. Today's topic, sales, high ticket sales, the art of sales, the number one lever you can pull that will make the biggest difference in your profitability, in your business, absolutely everywhere. And the first thing that I want to address is this, is that most people are thinking about sales all wrong. Of course, we want to make money. Of course, we want to help people. But money is not the goal. The mission is the goal. Helping people is the goal. The service is the goal. And ultimately, being able to solve a problem is the goal. And if that is your goal and you go into selling as a service, the money will absolutely flow. Many people struggle with sales. There's mindset issues. There's assumptions about sales. Our parents and our communities taught us so much about money and sales growing up that when you get to this point in your business and you're selling yourself, this thing that you created, it requires you to really understand sales, understand your value, and understand how to clearly communicate that to people. And the thing is, if your goal is solving a problem and you put everything into that, solving that problem, understanding the people who have that problem, talking about that problem, and being the most confident person in the entire world that you are the answer to that problem, then sales will absolutely flow for you. You will be able to sell authentically, and you'll be able to show up to those sales calls, to those sales conversations with an attitude of, if you knew what I knew about your problem, you would run and not walk to my program. And that right there is key. That right there is key. But let's talk about the 3 biggest problems people have when closing high ticket sales. So, number 1, most people struggle with justifying higher prices. Business owners typically find this very challenging. You don't know what the benchmarks are. You don't know what to say to clients. You don't know what you're worth. You can hardly see your own value. And the thing is, if you don't see the value in your high ticket offer, your clients will absolutely not be able to see that value either. And the key to this one, the key to justifying high prices, it's not so much about what you say on the sales call. It is more about the type of person who actually shows up to a sales call. Because when the right person, the person who has tried everything, the person who understands what you have been through to have this answer, the person who has the motivation, who has the problem, who has the ability to pay you, and who has the motivation and action oriented attitude to actually implement what you are selling, that's the person that you're able to get on a sales call and easily close into high ticket services. The fact is, you get some just average person on your phone that is maybe just like dipping their toe into what you have to offer. It's going to be very difficult for you to justify a $10,000 price tag on that. Versus somebody who has been through all the things, been to all the doctors, been to all the experts, at the end of their rope. They really want a solution that works. Those are the individuals that will pay you for your high ticket programs. And so the problem isn't that you need to know the right words to say in order to justify your high prices. The fact is, you need better prospects on the phone with you. And that all starts with understanding who you're talking to and what to say to them to activate them to take action. One of the most powerful ways to really understand this is through my one true client method. And it's very simple. All you need is to figure out one true client in your experience. This is a client who has paid you what you want to be paid, someone that you like to work with, somebody who is willing to take action and is an action taker, somebody who got the results that you were promising, and somebody who had clear communication, somebody that you truly enjoyed working with. So find somebody in your experience, one true client that meets all 5 of these criteria. And all you need to do is write their name on a Post-it note. And when you write their name on that Post-it note, every time you go to post on social media, write an email, name a webinar, have a sales call, whatever the case may be, you look at that Post-it note and you say, what would Timothy say? What would Barbara say about what I'm about to write? Would she find it relevant? Would she understand why I'm posting it? And would she actually want to reconsume it? And when you do this check with one person, okay, the way that I like to word this is when you focus on the micro, the macro will take care of itself. And the same goes for the one true client method. You check in with Barbara, it'll become very clear that you need to tweak some words or you need to tweak your message in order to actually appeal to her. Now, people make a couple of mistakes when I teach the one true client method because it truly is so simple. Number one, they don't write this name on the Post-it note. The fact is, you will never remember to check in with your one true client or who that is without checking in on a Post-it note. You will always end up talking to someone who will pay you less, someone who is not that high ticket. You will always default to what I call lower left-hand quadrant people unless you do this check with your one true client. The second mistake people make when implementing the one true client method is they try to sell to themselves. They think, oh, I am the perfect person. I had the transformation. I would pay $1 billion for this. I would do this. But the fact is, you can't sell to yourself. You think you're more brilliant than you are, and you actually forgot so much of what you learned. It's almost impossible for you to be in that beginner's mindset because of how much creation you've done. So you cannot sell to yourself. And the third thing is that people will Frankenstein 2 of their customers. Well, I loved how Bobby paid me, but Nancy really had the results, although she didn't pay me. You can't combine 2 people. You can't sell to someone who is not in your experience. So you can't be making up people or pretending it is you or trying to sell to yourself. It just won't work. So the answer to justifying your higher prices is making sure that one true client is on the phone. And the only way to do that is through your marketing and doing a check-in with your one true client, making sure that what you're saying is relevant. Let me give you an example of this, okay? Because words matter, every word matters, messaging matters. So, let me give you an example of this and how important the one true client method is. I have a client and she's in my Content That Converts program, and she has an invite only event called, this is the name of her invite only event, is how to manage chronic back pain even when your x-rays are normal and you've been told surgery is the only option. Now, this is a masterclass she gives. She fills it up. She gets people on a phone call. Now, she was finding that people on her sales call were not so far into the process. They hadn't really even explored surgery. They knew they had back problems. They hadn't really explored any other natural remedies. So she realized that, and that wasn't her perfect client, when in fact, what she wanted, her Barbara, her one true client, was way farther past being told surgery is the only option. This happened to her several years ago, and now she's tried absolutely everything. And her doctor is saying, I have no more options for you. So after she realizes that, getting on the sales calls, following the unlaunch method, really narrowing her audience through the unlaunch method, the new title for her program is How to Manage Chronic Back Pain Even When Your Doctor Said There Is No Hope and You Feel Like You've Tried. Now, with a title like that, she began to attract and get people on her phone that had tried everything and they were at the end of their ropes and really ready to take the leap, invest in something that worked. They had tried all the quick and easy fixes and they were ready to actually get to work. And so, because through her social media, through her marketing, through her podcast, through everything else, she changed her Barbara from somebody whose x rays are normal and been told surgery is the only option, somebody earlier on in their path. She realized this and changed her one true client to a Judy, who wants to manage her chronic back pain. The doctor said there's no hope, and she's feel like she's tried everything. She's completely at the end of her rope. And with just that tweak, she was able to increase her conversion call rate. The quality of those individuals getting on on the call increased, and she was able to increase her closing call sales rate because the lead quality was improved. So that's number one, is you can't justify high prices with the wrong audience. The second problem people really face when it comes to high ticket sales is low conversion rates in high ticket sales. It takes time and it takes money to bring in those leads. And so if you're getting on a phone call and say you have a 50-minute phone call to enroll high ticket clients, you really need to focus on having high conversion rates in those sales calls, because low conversion rates means you're spending so much time on the phone, you're spending so much money getting those leads to come in, and if you don't close those calls, it's a huge expense, both time and money. And the thing you need to understand about low conversion rates is that sales is not about that single phone call. It's all about what has happened in the past and the future for that lead. And so most people are playing the short game on sales. They end up thinking that call is it, when in fact you need to absolutely play the long game in sales. So how do you solve it? First of all, you've got to approach sales knowing that sales is a long game and not a short game. The fact is, sales is not about that single phone call, the one where they said yes or no or maybe later. It is all about what happened in the past, how many times you've connected with them on social, how many emails they've opened, how much they feel that they've connected with you, and it's all about the future. Just because you got off the call with them now and they say not right now, you need to schedule a time and ask them if it's okay to check in with them in a couple of weeks and set a time to recheck back in with them. And the only way you can be doing this is through tracking your sales. It is scary, okay? It is scary how much money people are sitting on when they just bring in one sales call and then they plan to never even talk to that person again. There are so many lost leads there. And honestly, you've already invested X amount of time. You've already invested an entire breakthrough session call amount of time on this lead. you really want that lead to close down the line to really make it worth it. So start viewing sales as a long game and not a short game, and track your sales. How does that start? Open up a spreadsheet, call it the $1 million black book, and just make notes of everybody that you've had a sales call with this entire year and into the future. Make sure you're always tracking those sales. And the third problem people really face is that they think they are a better salesperson than they really are. They end up closing on rapport. They're usually type A individuals. They're very well put together. They say stuff like, if you get the right person in front of me, I can close 80% of the time. And when I ask, hey, do you track your sales? They say, no, I don't track them. I'm sure I close 80% of the time. Now, the fact is, you don't close 80% of the time. And if you're not tracking, you have no idea what those numbers are, and your brain is playing tricks on you. And so, if you're going into a sales call and you think you're a better salesperson than you are, and you've never been trained in sales and you're not following a script, you're leaving money on the table. You're wasting your time and your lead's time because you're not showing up prepared to that call, and you're wasting everyone's time by saying you're an expert and then just getting on this call and trying to close on rapport. Now, if you're a serious business owner, which I know you are, and you really want to systemize and scale, you need an onboarding process. You need to know who that perfect customer is that's going to succeed in your program. And so, if you don't have questions lined out that's going to get you closer to that, closer to knowing what is up with that client so you can help them, and you're not just going to come up with this off the cuff or just close them based on a feeling, because you are just leaving so much money on the table and you're wasting everyone's time. So, what's the answer? The answer is you need to use a script. I share a very powerful script that's extremely authentic in my calls to clients sales system. And this script is very simple, okay? And this is like what you write down on your Word doc for your script. You need to be following a script. You want to be showing up at your computer and being serious about this and taking notes about that client. And the more you know about that person, the more successful that you're going to be able to make them. So let's go over the script process that I offer in my calls to clients sales system. So that's an acronym, and this is exactly what you're going to do on that sales call. So first of all, you're going to set the agenda. You're going to set the tone and authority, be professional, set expectations, take real control of the call. And I'll give you a little hint here on the Millionaire Maker Show. My favorite question to ask after I set the agenda to really create that transition into the rest of the call is, tell me what brought you to the call today. Was there something I was talking about that I said or did that really made you get on this call? And with that answer, that prospect will tell you what they see in you, why they're on this call, and how you can help them. And so you can take this powerful information to structure the rest of the call, because they right there are telling you what is on their mind and how they think you will be able to solve it for them. So you're going to set the agenda. That's S in the script. Okay. S in script. C is create a gap. You got to create a gap by asking the right questions. You got to understand what they really want. And this right here, okay, is you have to ask them where they are. You have to ask them where they want to be, what they've tried, why they think this is important, and really be able to create this gap. If you ask the right questions and they hear themselves saying this, they will believe it. Prospects believe everything they say. They believe nothing you say. And so as you create this gap, you want to ask them the right questions that will make them clearly understand where they are, what they've tried, and why it's insane for them to continue to try on this path, because they will probably end up where they have before. So that's C for create a gap. The third is reflect. So SCR. R is for reflect. This is extremely important. This is active listening. You want to be parroting back their answers. It looks like this. So you're looking to scale your business to $1 million because you want to retire. You're sick of corporate America and you really want to retire. Tell me more about that. Can you tell me a little bit more about your retirement plans? And so when you reflect and ask back, then the prospect absolutely feels heard. This is very important to do throughout the call. So SCR, the next is I for investigate. You really want to be uncovering the unseen. Instead of just saying, okay, they want to build $1 million business. Okay, that sounds great. Let's get on to the next question. Here's the key. You got to uncover the unseen. Everyone is happy telling you about their seen problems. Yeah, I want to build $1 million business. Yeah, I want to have better health. These are seen problems that they're used to telling the people in their lives. In order to authentically sell high ticket coaching, you have to get to that unseen problem. If you can ask them a question that they have never been asked, they will feel more understood and you will be able to sell them your high ticket programs. Now, how do we know where that unseen is? Here's a hot tip. You want to be listening on the call for sighing, for laughter, for a tonality change, maybe their rate of speech picked up. During these answers, if they do any of those things, then you really know there's another question there to ask. So if I ask somebody on a Millionaire Maker Breakthrough Strategy session and I say, what was your revenue in 2023? And they go, ha 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 ha. It was only 250K. I had 500K coming. I had a revenue of 500K for the 2 years before that. But in 2023, it dropped to 250K because I had a whale client. And so with that laughing, when they say that 250K that I made this year, that is key to turning around and asking them, can you tell me more about that? Tell me more about how falling from 500K in the previous years to 250K has affected you. And you know because they will sigh, they will laugh, their tonality will change, or their rate of speech will change. So you want to investigate when you hear these kind of things. Next, you want to prescribe. And this is the real power of the Unlaunched method and my entire calls to client sales system, and that is prescription. The prescribed portion of my calls to client sales scription is really the best because this is where you're ensuring that you're meeting the client where you're at. You make an offer to them based on what you shared. Here's how we can help. Here is my program. Okay. And you explain the program to them based on exactly what they said. For me, I have 3 different programs. And based on how people answer the questions in the intake form when I'm asking them on this call, will very much dictate which of those 3 programs I will sell them. And so this is the power and what the new era of online business is becoming is that gone are the days that, hey, just smash a button and sign up for my multi-$1,000 program right now. Instead, you have to be on the phone. You have to be a real person. They have to understand that you are an expert and you want to prescribe to them a program that fits their needs. And back out of this, my program will fit everyone's needs and aim for, I only want people who will succeed in my programs. And when you go into it with an attitude like that and you prescribe to them what they need, you meet the client where they're at, and you're able to have this back and forth with them. Do they have a problem? What do they have a problem with? And have this back and forth, being open, being able to prescribe something that fits that client's needs. And then finally, the T in script is take action. After you prescribe to them your program, you will let them know what the next step looks like if they were to say yes today. So you say something like this: if you choose to sign up today, we can start working on your content problem immediately. Then you say, if you choose to sign up today, we can go ahead and insert next step. So for me, that looks like if you choose to get signed up today, we will go ahead and get you scheduled for our Fast Path to Cash strategy call. So you let them know what that next step is, giving them an option to say yes. And so that's the script method. Let's just go over that one more time. You are going to set an agenda. You're going to create a gap. You're going to reflect. You're going to investigate. You're going to prescribe. And then you're going to take action. And when you follow a sales call script like that, you will be able to close more online sales and not waste your time or the prospect's time. And you will be able to close more of those sales because you're doing it with a strategic approach instead of just relying on rapport and guessing and hoping people will like you enough to actually buy from you. This is the way it's done. It's the way the new era is absolutely requiring it. And with the amount of competition in AI, It's all about human intimacy, people feeling understood, you being authentic in your sales system, and that's really how the game of business is played today. So, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure, if you are ready to get those straight answers for your business, for all of the listeners of the Millionaire Maker Show, I offer the Millionaire Maker Breakthrough Strategy Session. That is me and you on the phone discussing your business. I will share with you the gaps, the things you don't see in your business that you have to overcome in order to actually build this business of your dreams, to have this retirement business, and to find this business that actually works. All you need to do is head over to lindsaya.com/coaching to apply for that session. And thank you so much for listening to this episode. Cheers to you and your success.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Maker Show with online business consultant and creator of the Millionaire Maker Funnel, Lindsey Anderson. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.